Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And Dragon Wild too, babe.
And welcome to another thrilling installment of Tiki's Universe. That's right, it's a show where we recap all the current hot animated programming. Let's go down the lineup, fellas. We got Tangled, which we're about to get into, hopefully within the next week or so. We're about to finish up with Milo Murphy's Law. DuckTales is coming out. Rick and Morty Season 3. We're going to be doing the new Deadpool show whenever that drops.
Yeah.
We got a whole ton of current programming that we're covering. Big Hero 6, of course, when that drops. But tonight, folks, we are talking about Samurai Jack, a very important episode of Samurai Jack. Episode number 100, to be exact.
Or the penultimate episode.
Or C, babe.
Yeah,
See, babe, we're almost at the
Do you see what I'm doing with that title, babe? Oh, yeah, Scaramouche.
See, and the next one is like, see, I told you.
I could do C puns all day, babe.
Sea monkeys.
Oh, God. Okay, so there's a lot to get into here.
Yeah.
This might be my favorite episode of the season. I think this is really jam-packed with, it's not only got, of course, a lot of, everyone loves some Scaramouche, and we were kind of afraid that maybe he wouldn't get his day in the sun, and he did get his day. So we'll talk through all that. And then, of course, oh my God, the gut-wrenching last 5 minutes or so of the episode, and all that in between. So let's start off with the aftermath, the adorable aftermath from the very, the shall we say, hot and bothered ending to the last episode, to episode 8, the very hot and heavy ending.
Yes, the Everybody Loves Somebody ending, which
everybody loves somebody.
Yeah, well, it was a little divided in the episode. I tell you, that ending still is flawless to me. It's just perfect.
But I like how the aftermath is realistic, where they've got all this gunk in their mouths and they're pull away. There's this, oh no, I'm sorry, it wasn't because of what we were doing. It's
the residue.
Yeah, there's lots of residue. Again, I love Phil Lamar's nervous Jack.
Yeah. And this to me again, we had less. He had some lines that just didn't sound good, even if it was just kind of really nervous Jack. But no, I think they hit it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Young warriors and well.
Oh, a small correction. Jacob was right. It was Lazarus 92, not 42. Okay, so after the residue gag, let's see. We have some great loving glances, by the way. I just wanted to acknowledge that right off the bat. There, Jack and Ashi. Again, just Jack in love is just so darn nice. It really is.
I thought I had one of those shots, but I guess I don't. But I love the moment where Jack waves to Ashi, and then Ashi like turns around the corner, and she's just like, "Bye."
I'll tell you what I love, just in this episode compared to the last one. When we had the loving glances here and like the adorable bye and everything, just we didn't have that la 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 music in the background, which is that was bumming. Like, I love the loving glances, like nervous.
I don't
Jack.
mind the la la music, to tell you the truth. I thought it was a fun kind of stylistic choice for the episode.
I'm just saying it was a whole lot classier and really nice here. I'm just saying, oh my god, it's like, this is like the Jack in love I've been waiting for. Like, oh, this is like it's a nice calm before the storm. All this opening stuff we got going on.
And you know what, Dragon? I'm glad you mentioned that, because as all this stuff was going on, as soon as they parted ways, I was like, oh God, this isn't going to turn out well, is it? Oh God, something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, it's of course I had my own theory going into it that it was going to be Jack making the big choice, and that's why this stuff is being built up. It went horribly wrong in the end, and we'll get to that.
Yes.
But again, the reason I think all the love stuff really pays off in the beginning here is that it's paying off the arc that we've been setting up, and of course you get these great little bits here and there, just the two of them. It's a genuine it's a genuine connection, really. Really nice, and I think I like this. And I think there might be a bit of foreshadowing in the scene here. So Ashi conveniently finds a prison guard uniform. In the prison. Now I noticed this. I want to get you guys your view on this. There was a symbol on the prison. Nice. This symbol looks like a key to me, and I think it's on the uniform. It's on the wall and everything. I think. It doesn't interpretation what it is. It looks like a key to me, which makes sense. Key, prison, lock and key, all that sort of stuff. Right, I think it might be symbolism that Ashi's going to be the key to stopping Aku.
Symbolism! Yeah, I could very much see that, Jack. Like evil Ashi turning against Aku, kind of like a Darth Vader defeating the Empire, the Emperor kind of moment.
Yeah. More on that later, but yeah, it's
Okay.
of course. Also, we get again just compare the last episode. I'm going to take the shots of the last episode. I'm saying they get it really. I think they struck this one so right. Yeah, I understand why.
No,
this one might
I
be-
just think it's very much comparing like the weakest the series had to offer to the best the series had to offer.
we have a much classier bit of Ashi's curiosity and Jack's physique this episode. A lot classier than what we did last episode.
Right.
Reverse that. I mean, this was nice. Again, it's like she's like experienced like a little like humble curiosity. Really nice.
Okay, so meanwhile, Jack as Ashi's going to change out of the gi.
I love that he's still correcting her on the gi. It's not
Right,
it's
right.
gi.
We get this great kind of
Yes.
great bit. This is some good visual. Now I love how the kind of the avatar of Jack throughout the series.
The
throughout
id,
season.
the id thing.
Right. I love how it's come full circle now
Yes.
to it's the Jack that we first started with in episode 1.
It's no longer the angry mad Jack.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Now it's just like the sad, like I've seen it all kind of Jack.
Right.
It's-
You don't want to end up back here again. Like now that you're out of this state, be careful because you know what awaits you if something goes wrong.
I also read it as it's like the last of Jack's id. The last version of Jack's id, or the hallucinized reflection of Jack, is a realistic warning. And I love how realistic this warning is from a reflective, not only just a reflection of himself, quite literally, reminding him that hey, this is what 50 years has done to you over and over again. So like the last bit of like kind of presumably last bit of kind of a vision of himself is like telling him, hey, you're out of the woods, you're back to who you were, yes, but remember what you being back on this path is going to do to you and anyone who's close to you. Remember that going forward. It's like a sad warning. Okay, well, you're all set, you don't need me anymore, but remember
Right.
what could happen to you.
Okay. And then as we get Jack and Ashi bonding, we get a great flashback, including a very memorable visual here. I feel like every episode has at least one of these, right? Like these kind of like paintings of these like vistas and the colors and the pinks. It just all pops out very well. Can one of you kind of describe what Jack's talking about with the cherry blossoms? Because he has a really nice speech about it.
Well, the cherry blossoms really isn't important. This is basically just like a flashback to what his life was like in Japan.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Jack's talking specifically about the cherry blossoms. Like, he seems to linger on that when he's telling Ashi about the story, and Ashi seems to kind of, like, take to that as well.
Well, the thing is, I mean, like in the show itself, they're really not that important or symbolic or anything, at least as far as I know. But the cherry blossoms are actually very popular and very abundant in Japan.
Well, yeah, sure, I knew that.
My read on it was...
That's basically as far as it goes from what I know.
Okay, fair enough.
My read on it was that basically Jack's going through the changing of the seasons, and which is really kind of nice slice of life thing we got going on. And I took two things away from the scene. So one, I'll get to in a second, but this in relation to the cherry blossoms is that cherry blossoms are, as we're going through seasons, we're kind of looking at the kind of transformations, and I think cherry blossoms is like a beautiful little transformation in between seasons, kind of like a sort of a, I want to say like a representation of spring, but the point is, I think what they might be hitting upon is kind of like a sense of kind of transformation in a positive, like kind of like what Ashi went through, maybe, and kind of what Jack's gone through in the series of getting back to his roots, so to speak. And speaking of that, the main thing I took away from the scene is that I think essentially we remember. Sorry. Essentially, Jack is he's kind of experiencing memory. I love the use of memory in this episode. Memory is kind of like a curse upon Jack here, where he's remembering his past, and remembering his past, we're kind of setting up it's like a final reminder. Is okay. Remember how the series started? We started in this land. This is like the first episode origin.
Sure.
So it's like we're coming close to the end. That's what I really took away as to why we're getting this flashback. But in addition to just that plot, that just generalized audience reminder, I think we had a great deal of character added to it. Like we see kind of the good, and Ashi kind of brings the Jack in this dark reality that he's lived. That basically he ever since he was 8 years old, which is the young Jack we see. I know that he looks younger than 8, but it's kind of the art style.
Yeah, right.
Ever since he was 8 years old, he's been involved in this war against Aku. He's been training for war like Batman, quite literally, and seriously went around the world.
You might say I'm a young Bruce Wayne.
You might say that, yeah. And again, they're recapping the Genesis in the penultimate here, and then we have this. We had a really sweet bit in the scene where I love Jack talking about his past too, amongst the campfire going. It's a real sweet gesture on her part, just kind of like making the food and stuff, even though the food was horrible.
Right.
And we have
talking with his mouth full and everything, like, oh yes, it is very good.
Yes, and we have that humble. Remember the humble A girl bit, the whole where they're ending girls. Oh yes, Manny, because again he's not looking.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. And then she just like rolls her eyes.
And then he realizes, oh no, A girl, no, and we know this. There was no A girl because again the whole Batman that's kind of training to fight evil for many years. And then we have I mentioned this because I don't mean to linger on this here. I mentioned it because it's one of my favorite Phil LaMarr performances in Samurai Jack. I tell you, because we the way Phil LaMarr's played Jack for all the seasons is that Jack's a character of few words. Whenever Jack does speak, it's usually going to be important or like kind of rarely kind of for plot exposition, but usually it's like cool, or he's attacking, or it's like something's not right here. He's very very direct with what he says, and this is like a really nice kind of respite for Jack, kind of getting to know someone, saying it's nice. He has a great line here. It's nice to remember. It's nice to remember a time before Aku, a memory. And that's all he has, because he's convinced he's never going home at this point. Again, it's one of the best Phil LaMarr performances, and just on the episode as a whole, because I didn't really get to mention this last episode. This is the most on model perfect Jack's look, because they got the tint right, and then the thing with the animation on Jack is it varies a lot of the time because of the new animation styles that like you'll see right there. Especially in the reflection, he has these lines under his eyes. Sometimes if you add too many lines to Jack's face, it doesn't look quite right. But the only lines that you should add to Jack's face are under the eyes, and either that or no lines at all, which they get right and have like the perfect amount of paleness. So yeah, I think this episode it's firing all cylinders perfect.
Okay, so let's get to the some plot here. Now, of course, you guys know way more about this than I do. I'm kind of lost in this scene, so by all means, take me through it, please.
Right, so
yeah, Jacob, please go.
So in the episode Jack and the Traveling Creatures, Jack was told about this guardian who was guarding a portal back to his respective time. And I'm really condensing the story here. The guard, as we pointed out before, the guardian was guarding the time portal and wouldn't let anybody through, not even Jack. And he's actually one of the few people in the original series to actually beat Jack.
Yes.
And he was sent away for a while, and he was sent away. He never came back.
Okay.
But what happened was basically the portal talked to him, and told him that told the Guardian that it wasn't Jack's time, and that it would be his time in the future, featuring a much older Jack. Like not yet Samurai Jack.
Right.
And the significance of this scene here is it's a real kind of somber little nod to it's a somber nod to the Guardian, because he wore these little red glasses. He's a big blue guy, wore these little red glasses, and Jack recognizes it. And I love the little somber. I feel like him looking sad because he knows who this is, and he remembers this place. So it's not just like happenstance. Like he remembers this location as he's walking upon kind of a scrap pile, and that's where they fought. And essentially, it's a symbol to him is that there's like this big spire in the middle. It's like kind of broken in half, like the top of it's missing. That was the portal. So the portal's been destroyed.
Okay,
and
right,
so is
right.
the Guardian. I got that. That's a sign to Jack that even the portal I thought Aku didn't know about is gone. So there's no way home. And it might be a misdirect in case the Guardian is not dead. So
of course, remember, we have to bring up that Jack did this all behind Ashi's back. He basically left in the middle of the night to pursue this.
Yes, and we then is continuing forward. But again, in speculation, let's say maybe the Guardian's not going, but I'll get to that later. So basically, in this scene here, it's a really sweet sentiment where she kind of catches up to him, and it's such a wonderful scene. This is, again,
I know, it really is. It's such a great sentiment.
And this is the thing, Phil LaMarr gets such great lines in this episode.
And this is kind of like one of the two possibilities we were calling. I think we did kind of like call this a little bit, that Jack would realize that he's got everything that he's been working for with Ashi. So.
Yeah, just this wonderful kind of sad but moving scene where Jack's explaining that Aku takes, again, like the best kind of line you could have to summarize kind of all the stuff Jack's been through. Jack explains to her that Aku has taken everything Jack loves, his friends, family, everything. Jack,
turning all of them into memories.
Yes, and again, I love the use of memories like that. You rarely get memories as again, there's this memories of like all the things that he's lost. These memories we think it was a good thing, memories a terrible thing in the case of in the case of Jack, he doesn't want Ashi. The best line here. He doesn't want Ashi to be a memory. And that's so sweet. And then Ashi comes back and saying, "Look, together, we've been through so much. Together, we can defeat Aku." And it's like, oh, it's so hopeful and so nice. And these two, you just want these two kids to get together, and you just want these.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, of course, rewatching the episode. It's just like, oh, something bad is about to happen. Lingering tension.
Yeah, and then this is fueling the theory that Tiggy's remind us of here is that if Jack, of course, if Jack goes back in time, that means Ashi doesn't exist, and it hasn't hit upon. Jack isn't thinking about that yet, but I think it's just cementing that if Jack were to continue to exist in the future, at least he has a happy ending with Ashi. And then we'll take a bit from the dark punctuation to this scene, which is. But let's backtrack to the B story.
I'm a squid, babe. Oh, yeah. Somehow I have sentient control over this creature. What's up with that, babe?
I love the idea of Squidamoosh. Not Squidamoosh. It's not Squid. It's Octomoosh or
Octomoosh.
Yeah, I like Octomoosh, but it's,
I got 8 legs, babe, and I know how to use them. Oh, yeah.
It makes so much sense because he was in the water and, he got having to land upon one of these things. It's like the perfect way of getting them around. It's kind of like a Hank from Flying Door. It's like, okay, that's how it gets around. It's like so useful and it's so fun.
An octopus based on talking penis.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so what I really love, I love this call here, and basically it's in this scene as I love that we pulled a really obscure reference for Aku here. It's so ridiculous, but it's so funny that we do. You guys seen the Chevy Chase Vacation movie, right? The original.
Yeah.
Remember Wally World?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing here. They're doing, they get to the gate, and then the moose is telling them.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Wally World's closed, and that's what the moose is going through. He reached Aku finally.
It's like, no, babe, no. I'm gonna hold Chevy. I'm gonna hold John Candy at gunpoint.
Exactly. That's essentially. Oh no, we're gonna have some fun, babe. He's going up there, and he's he basically this is the.
I think Scaramouche knows scary much about the ins and outs, babe.
Yes. And what's really fun here, and I love this, as we've built up with Aku, is even though we had like a little bit of excitement of taking on the Scotsman, this is the peak of Aku's malaise. Because he is the fact that he put this little standee out, this little recorded Aku out there is just saying that I've given up. I'm not seeing any more people. I'm just residing. I'm all hermetized and everything.
Well, the thing is, though, at least he was polite about it too.
Yeah.
He was.
He was like, I apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused you.
Exactly. It's just like the peak of Aku's malaise. He's so depressed, and he's just laying down there for like God knows how many years he plans on just staying down there. And then, of course, I called the whole Scaramouche informing Aku of
Jack not having the sword right as Jack gets the sword.
Yeah. It wasn't like right when he got, but the fact is Jack already has, and it's like the fun dramatic irony of, okay, well, our guy doesn't know this.
And of course, it's really fun. Like, Aku reacts accordingly. Like, he's gung-ho about it as soon as he finds out.
After he makes Scaramouche swear on his life that are you sure? Yeah, babe, I stake my life.
What joy.
Yep, and then we called this. We were hoping for this, and Aku with a snap, a blast from his eyes. He gives Scaramouche's body back, and they have a dance party.
Oh my God, this is so wonderful! This might be one of my favorite moments in the
I
season.
laughed so hard. I haven't laughed.
Oh
honestly,
yeah, shake it, Aku, babe.
I think since the Everybody Loves Somebody ending, I haven't laughed this hard with Samurai Jack. Just the whole.
Dragon, I think this would be a fantastic cosplay, don't you? I mean, just Scaramouche in general.
Oh yeah, Scaramouche is an awesome costume.
Right, I totally want to make that costume.
He's dressed in like those Hanna-Barbera old school colors, the orange and the purple. It's kind of like Daphne from Scooby Doo, essentially. It's like, what if Daphne was a crooner and she was also battle ready? It's like,
I want to wear the two. Everyone for those meddling kids.
Yeah.
And your dog too, babe.
Yeah.
So let's see all this levity as great as it is, and basically Aku out of his malaise, so happy-go-lucky. Then then we get the revelation. So we had a really great.
I just like the part before that where he's like, "Why did we pick now for our meeting again?" But he does a pretty good impersonation of Jack.
Oh yeah. What was so great is like after the happy-go-lucky, like we can defeat Aku, then Aku just shows up and we have him in silhouette with only the eyes showing. Like, we have some really good shots. It'd be impossible to get them all because the episode's really well composed with good shots.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, we had a tough time narrowing it down.
You see what I mean? It's like, it was like a perfect edit of like, and then Aku shows up just the minute they think they're confident enough to defeat him. And Ashi's in shock, like, oh my god, the deity my mother worshipped for so many years, like, oh my god, stand right in front of me.
Yeah, and it's probably like I bet he's more larger than life than she could have possibly imagined him being. You know what
He's
I mean?
way bigger than the statue.
Well, think about it. All she's ever seen of him is that statue.
Yeah, right.
So let's see. So then we have the ultimate reunion. Now we've been building this for 9 episodes. Jack reuniting with Aku, and this is a big deal. And I love that we kind of are doing it in the penultimate here. As Jacob said, he's mocking Jack with the whole with the impression of Jack. And just as of course, just as he's about to mock Jack for not having the sword, then
I mean, a birdie told me you lost your sword.
Tweet, babe. Hashtag Scaramouche.
But I love just the instant that the instant that Aku sees that Jack has a sword, now he's in shock and now he's so embarrassed. Yeah.
And then here we go. We have the great comic routine of
just looks at Scaramouche. Scaramouche shrugs his shoulders, and then Aku with just in an instant. You see, folks, now that's how you kill Scaramouche.
I just love how even as his head blows up, he's still going out in style. He's like, "What I do, babe?"
How was I supposed to know?
Right.
My information's a little delayed.
Okay, and then Aku makes a terrifying revelation.
Of course, I love that Aku just before the revelation, I love he's trying to back away, and just as Aku likes to, back to
I'll just leave you with your lady friend over here.
And that's such a creepy moment, and I tell you,
let's say that he managed to both be hilarious and terrifying throughout these entire last few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just I love the.
Like he's creepy, but what he says and how he says it's just so funny at the exact same time.
Again, we get Aku out of his just as he's about to retreat back into his malaise. He is re-energized, like he has an advantage against Samurai Jack, and it delights him so much. Basically, we get Aku at the pinnacle of what he was operating at. I love that turn of he's about to leave and Jack's trying to tag him. He just makes the hole in himself as a Jack again. Unfortunately, Jack can't stop. But then just that little turn of wait a minute. He turns around. He has those little spindly noises, the bones cracking noise every time he turns. And
I smell more of me.
And then of the creepiest, the ickiest line Aku's ever had in the series is I smell me inside of her.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it's the ickiest line I've ever heard.
It makes you want to take a shower afterwards.
Oh god, and it's boy. Then basically what we have here, this little timeout. Basically, folks, is us kind of decompressing Aku's revelation. I love how he recaps it though. He pieces it together as he's furrowing his fiery facial hair.
Right.
And I love.
Well, there was that one time.
Just the fact, and
it's basically just like a passing nod, I was like, oh yeah, that happened once. I don't even care.
What's funny is, and I think it's not only us, but I think maybe the collective audience. Initially, we think from the very first episode, Aku had something to do with these kids, and then realizing, wait a minute, Aku doesn't even know about these. He has the dramatic, the episode 2, say, if only, which means Aku has no idea about these guys. But the fact that Aku did have a hand in these guys, and he just completely forgot about it.
He's still he's.
It was that one time. It's like that one time I went. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Exactly. Right. It's like a Vegas story, right?
Oh god!
So, spoiler alert, technically, he is their biological father.
Yes.
Hey, Dragon.
Yes, Sticky.
Aku is Ashi's biological father. All right. Sorry.
Oh god, that is honestly, that's probably the most accurate we've ever used that.
Okay.
Anyway, let's see.
Aku, you are the father.
So Aku, in a really again, it's such a creepy yet kind of awesome scene where just Aku he provides his essence of the essence of evil into the chalice, and then I just love these. I love how it's put the little flashes of okay, well this must have happened, then this must have happened. As it's just like little flash of well the stuff we've seen before, the birth and all that stuff, and it's just and that honestly my reaction during it was like I had the Batman the Animated Series Heart of Ice reaction. I thought my God. As it was dawning, I'm like, oh my God, that means this whole time it's like, and again, plays in this idea of Aku we've had like in episode 7 of Aku is like that playground bully, like he's evil without realizing the ramifications of that.
Yeah, right. Like he just thinks like he's having a good time, you know?
Because again, he just thought, hey, if they want to worship me, I'm going to get a little sample of me. Hooray, I'm going to be off being more of Aku. He doesn't even realize all the stuff. These 6 other, actually had 6 sisters that died by Jack's hand. He doesn't even realize that.
Could you imagine if the other ones would have survived? He wouldn't have stood a chance.
Exactly. It's like, you know, Aku just being, Aku really is the embodiment of evil because he's just so ignorant of the evil actions. I mean, he's like just that, like he's like harmless evil, which is like, you know, it's like when you know those things where you see like an interview with a serial killer and they're playing it like it's nothing. It's kind of
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. He doesn't realize
the horror of his actions. He was just having a good time, and then it's just like the truly horrible ramifications. Which one is Ashi realizing, oh my God. I mean, again, she just thought she was like, as we saw wonderfully and visually with Ashi, you know, she was just burned to look like Aku. And this. Learning that deep down she is actually Aku.
It's not just a deity she used to worship. It's her dad. That thing's my freaking father.
Good call there, Jacob. Good call. I appreciate that reference.
I thought that'd be appropriate.
Yes, and then basically, as we see in this image we have before us, Aku then has a truly evil idea. To use Ashi to fight Jack here, as basically and again, this is so hard, and given what we saw Ashi go through, she just scraped all the burned stuff off of her. She is then coded something far worse than just as painful as that. She is coded against her will in kind of Aku's true Aku evil.
Right. It's like just the essence of Aku in a way.
Exactly. You got to remember Aku, just in what he's made of. See, Tiki, what Aku's made of ever since the first Birth of Evil thing. When they went to the backstory, he is literally all that black goop is the embodiment of evil in the world. So she's covered in evil.
Okay, gotcha.
Not just like the closest thing we can do of evil. It's like actual evil. And
evil incarnate, like the presence of evil itself.
Exactly. There was like Aku was like this whole wide. He was like basically like a Milky Way made of this black stuff, and then just when he landed on Earth, he became Aku. That's kind of the gist of it, like symbiote.
That's the very condensed version of what happened, but essentially, like he wasn't always sentient though.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's see. So basically, and again, here's the thing: it's just I don't think Aku fully realized. Again, yet again with the evil thing. I think as far as Aku realized, I have an advantage. I'm going to make Jack fight his little friend who is my daughter. I'm going to be cheering on the sidelines and basically have a whole good time while I'm doing it. He doesn't realize the position.
Basically, it's kind of fun because this is essentially like Cartoon Network era Samurai Jack Aku, like just being a dick but having a really fun time about it. But then, like the Adult Swim era Samurai Jack, where the ramifications are just like really, really dramatic.
And again,
perfect blend of the two.
The closest thing we had to this was kind of the opening of 7. But again, we have that perfect blend here. It's even better now with like the super dark ramifications we opened the series on, with as Tiga just phrased perfectly, just all that you know, that fun Mako goodness through Greg Baldwin. And I think it's probably Greg Baldwin's best episodes that could be honest. Like the best he's gotten to it in this season.
This is almost hard to tell that it's even not Mako.
Yeah, it's just,
I know it really is.
Because that was what set Mako apart. He had such a great time with it. He was like not going every which way, like happy, but he's like saying evil things. He has the perfect evil laugh, all that sort of stuff.
Like this episode really like Greg Baldwin let loose with Aku instead of being in a malaise the entire time.
But you see what I'm saying though? Like, he's just thinking I have like another assassin essentially go after Jack versus like him realizing that, oh my God, I can truly break Jack by making him have to kill the woman he loves, who is my daughter, which is even more to us messing with his head already.
It's like kid, you try to raise them right, and then you take a off with your mortal enemy.
Oh, and by the way, Tiki, there's a fun thing you're probably not going to know about Jack. It's kind of a fun inside joke. A lot of people have noticed.
Okay.
the closest thing we ever had to Jack falling in love in the series.
Usually was Aku, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna build to that, but yes, essentially, Aku shapeshifted into a woman that Jack kind of had like a flirtatious thing with.
Oh God. Okay.
And it's like it wasn't like true love like with Ash. It was just like they kind of like he was kind of nice to her and they fought well together. But at the end,
right.
like they hit upon a time portal, saying that of course Aku smashed the time portal, whatever.
It was like, hey Arnold, like Jack liked her.
I guess. So I'm just saying, like, it's kind of this dark joke is that Aku that every time Jack falls in love, it's kind of with Aku and some twisted.
Right. What's up with that?
Yeah, that's like the twisted thing. Aku's always involved somehow whenever Jack falls in love. So let's see. So again, basically, just moving on with this. So Jack is in his worst. Jack's facing his worst nightmare. He's fighting. He's going to make someone into a memory.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So he's pleading with Ashi during the fight, for her to gain control. He's saying there, he gets some great lines here where he's saying, you are not your father, you are not your mother, you are, you're your own person, you are good. And oh my God, it's like really touching stuff. And then of course the horrifying imagery. So
Jack surrenders.
He does.
After Ashi begs him to kill her.
Yes, and that again, that was like the horrifying thing where like after like with the sword.
What you guys think? Like, I really did think it was going to go that way. I was like, oh God, this is awful.
I thought it was just going to end up that way, just like kind of shockingly. But then when he like cut the evil so she can like kind of get through for a moment, when she begged him to kill her, that's when it was like, oh my God, they're going to go there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I was literally like tearing my hair. Like I was yelling at my. It sounds so stupid. I was like yelling at her, "No, don't do it, no!" And then I was like, the bit there where just Jackie he surrenders because he can't do it. He can't kill her.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's a very heroic thing for us. You saying you kill me and destroy Aku, which Jackie just can't. And the dropping of the sword is a powerful image.
Oh yeah, very much so. Very much so. I mean, it's
a
big moment in his whole arc of the series.
And what's great is Aku's shock at where he says like, wait.
Like he doesn't know how to handle it. He's just like, it's kind of like the Megamind situation in a way.
Yes, in a way, yes. I agree with that. Just kind of that, he's just in shock. And he's like, then we have this, basically with the last image of the episode is what we have before us. And as we go through, so we have this, what I like to call a beautiful, tragic portrait of an ending. Mm-hmm. With Aku victorious, which of course harkens back to the original opening of Samurai Jack, where they have these beautiful paintings like this. So it shows another like the last one before the end. Like we're familiarizing everyone with the format of Samurai Jack as we're getting close. And again, the tragic image of Aku, all happy-go-lucky, holding the sword. I win. And as we go down,
it's basically kind of like the anti-Legend of Zelda shot in a way.
it's like kind of like an Excalibur thing almost. It's like, I pulled it from the sword and pulled it from the stone. Look at the stone as we pan down.
This is almost kind of like a Haunted Mansion stretching portrait in a way.
That'd be a good time to remind people that Aku can't actually use the sword himself because as the pure embodiment of evil, the sword was crafted to repel evil. He cannot use it himself to kill anybody.
Now, let me ask you this: do you think Ashi can use it because she's coded in evil, so she may not be able to? So
I say let's hold off that.
Right. Put a pin in it. So
I was actually going to lead into that as I can ask you guys that, but it's an interesting theory because if she is the daughter of Aku and now has the evil ooze or whatever you want to call it all over her, if she might not be able to use the sword.
Yeah. Well, okay. We'll get that in 1 second. It's all fresh in our mind. So let's pan down. We get the ending of the tread show right there. So like Ashi is standing there and this monster. I love that she's like she's the priestess realized, with the fiery eyes and the fiery white eyes, and when her face came through, she looked just like the priestess.
Right.
It's like the sadder. It's like the tragic. She became her mother.
She's now completely covered in the black, like her mother envisioned her.
Yep, and just Jack here is just Jack the low of lows, absolutely in all of the series, just low of lows. Like the woman he loves is just she's become Aku, or at least the actualized daughter of Aku, and Aku just victorious, holding his sword. The thing that's eluded him this whole beginning of the season that now Aku has, and it's a sad one for you folks, I tell you.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's Jacob, let's get back into what you were trying to say. Because I don't know, it's interesting because you're right with Ashi. I don't know. I'm kind of like in terms of spec, I think there's only a couple ways to go about this. Like, do you think it's possible Aku destroys the sword?
I'm sorry, Jay, you answer that one.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think he actually can do anything with the sword. I mean, he tried using it on Jack, like I pointed out before.
Yeah, I know, but so he can't even like do.
I mean,
like,
I don't think he's ever tried to. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if he's ever tried to explicitly destroy the sword.
Okay.
I mean, or if it ever even occurred to him to try to do that. But
Well, I'm sorry, please.
I mean, as far as I know, but like I said, I don't know if he even can destroy it. I mean, he can barely even can't even touch the blade part without getting hurt, basically.
Okay.
So-
Cool.
Well, in terms of the sword stuff, here's what I've been thinking of the sword. Now, again, I kind of forgot about the whole kind of the rules of Aku working with the sword, but I'm just saying if we could pull this off, here's something I kind of think in the direction it could go in. I'm saying it's gonna be the last one, so maybe anything can go. Again, who knows? But I was thinking maybe Aku would try corrupting the sword, like try and make like a black sword, you coding his stuff on that, or making it not a representation of good anymore, possibly. Again, whether that's gonna be possible or not, we'll see. And I just figured him doing that will throw the world out of balance. Is like an effect of like him doing it could like threaten the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying like if the only thing is
Like he creates his own demise, almost.
Possibly, but I'm just like the idea that maybe it's like if Aku can like do that, like the world will be out of balance, which means if not just the danger of being out of balance, then maybe it'll just be like now the world is too much evil and we'll just like tip it over and just it's like Aku's like the worst nightmare of Jack.
Right. Just like kind of like a Jacob. I imagine it kind of. I'm sorry, Dragon, but like for Gravity Falls fans, I imagine it kind of being like Weird Mageddon from Gravity Falls in a way.
Possibly, yeah.
Here's some other things I've been thinking of just for the last one. So let me throw this at you. Let me throw a few theories at you. So, in terms of the Scotsman, because it'd be really, they have to pay the Scotsman.
I know they have to pay the. Yeah, he has to come back.
I have two ideas with the Scotsman. I think that regardless, it's the same thing. Just one goes a little further. So I think the Scotsman will either help. Well, I think regardless, the Scotsman's going to help Jack defeat Aku, which will be kind of a nice thing, nice little kind of nod of like, hey, the old show's helping end things here. Like a fan favorite from the old show is going to help end things in the very last one.
Remind me, Dragon, did the Scotsman and Aku ever interact before this season?
Did the Scotsman and who?
The Scotsman and Aku ever interact? Like, did they ever have like an episode together?
Together, no, but Scotsman was on like the one, like Aku put like a hit out on the Scotsman. He put like a wanted there was a bounty on Aku, put a bounty on Scotsman. So the idea is like when he met Jack in the first place, the two of them were competing a little bit over like Aku wants me more.
I do remember that.
Oh God, that's great. That's great.
I'm just curious if there's like another episode with them together, but all right.
I imagine like Aku probably. The idea is like before Jack came around, the Scotsman was like numero uno on the wanted list, but then Jack came around, and in the future when he was
and the epic rivalry bromance began.
Yeah,
in a way, yes. So
before Ashi, there was a Scotsman.
So regardless, I think the Scotsman's going to help Jack out in this bind. Now, here's what I'm thinking: where we go with the Scotsman, one of two ways. So one could be a Scotsman is going to.
It could be just a use the Force Jack.
Well, that's maybe like how he's going to kind of help him defeat Aku. Possibly.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But Dagobah system.
Right, but after that, I'm thinking like the aftermath of defeating Aku in the future will be either the Scotsman using his Celtic magic will be able to create a time portal for Jack to decide to use, or he will lead him to a revealed to be alive Guardian who hid the portal. It basically made it look like Aku destroyed the portal, actually hid the real portal.
Okay, right. I could see either of those.
Which will lead to Jack making his choice, which again, like, it's kind of the same. I figure if Ashi's alive, then Jack's not going to go back.
Yeah, and it's interesting because at this point in the series, I think we can both agree, all three of us can agree that the ending that we kind of thought we were going to get through the first three episodes of just like Jack miserably dying alone in the woods somewhere. I don't think we're getting that ending. I think we're getting something a little bit more like narratively satisfying.
Well, I never thought he was going to die. I always thought he was going to go back until like we had Ashi kind of becoming The minute Jack and Ashi became
well,
nine, that's when I thought he was going to stay in the future.
Sure.
I remember that one of our initial thoughts was like even Ashi or even none of the daughters were going to survive at the first few episodes.
That's true.
I know, right?
How wrong we were. So let's see. So generally, what I think I personally I don't want Ashi to die. I don't think she's going to die. I think because if they're going to kill Ashi, they would have done it in this episode. But I mean, we don't know. I mean, for all we know, she could be killed in the next one. But I don't think so. Here's what I'm thinking we might do with Ashi. I'm thinking Ashi. Whether Aku like corrupts the sword or not, I think that the sword he might just keep it as like a victory, like a token of victory against him. But regardless, I think the sword is going to be used by Ashi to strike the final blow on Aku. So I think I think Jack's going to fight Aku without the sword. It'll be like a message of Jack doesn't need the sword to defeat Aku, and the last strike will be Ashi, like destroying Aku forever in the future. Like again, whether we go to the past or not, it's unclear. But if we just end Aku in the future, it'll be Ashi just using the blade on him because again, Aku would never suspect that. It would be the ultimate thing because Jack is always attacking Aku, and Aku always he caused that little circle inside himself. So Jack is never able to destroy Aku in the future. That'd be the ultimate way to kind of get him that he would never expect. That's what I'm convinced is like Ashi's role is going to be.
Kids, one day you're raising them, and the next they are literally stabbing you in the back.
What are the odds?
Okay, so final thoughts then?
Basically, my only thought right now is I can't wait for next week.
Oh, I know, right?
Yes, I'm in agreement. This episode was really good. It's a fantastic penultimate, kind of like a pimento of penultimates, compared to Better Call Saul for a moment. It's like that great, where the heck are we going to go next? That's
right.
Chuck was betraying Jimmy the whole time. It's Ashi's now under the control of Aku, and Jack may or may not.
Aku is Ashi's biological father.
Jack may or may not have to kill her.
Father. I have to keep saying that.
Jack may have to kill the woman he loves. Oh God, what's gonna happen? Will they go back to the past or not after all these seasons? What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
So I'm very hyped, to say the least.
Yeah, I really love this episode, folks, and I'm so glad that we decided to recap this whole season. It's been a lot of fun seeing the rise and fall of Scaramouche, for example, and other great story arcs kind of come into a head, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And until then, for the last time, next week we will be talking more
Samurai Jack. What Jack?
He's got to get back.
Back to the past.
Samurai Jack. I don't want it to be over, babe. It's such a good show. Can we just keep it going, babe? Come on now.
Don't go.
Come on, Adult Swim. Level with me, babe. Come on.